No helicopters have been procured for me to go to golf course. Thank you.
I've never said he wasn't a great politician. I'm just saying he's a golfer.
It's supposed to be an interview.
How'd you play out there today?
Well, I found the conditions challenging, mostly because there's no grass on the golf course, but there never has been.
I'm thinking about the swag bag, and I had high hopes for the swag bag.
When you got 3 crevices on the green, your course is trashy.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to Beltway Golfer Podcast. This is episode 64. I am your host, Alex Dixon. On today's show, I am joined by Howard University golfer, Mr. Gregory Odom Jr. Greg is the top-ranked golfer in the program since joining Howard University Golf right when the program was relaunched, thanks to Steph Curry's generous donation in the fall of 2019. Greg has won several tournaments, including PGA Works, back-to-back years, helped lead the Howard University golf team to a MEAC championship, along with a handful of other tournaments that he's won that we talk about in our discussion. He also competed in the Wells Fargo Championship here at TPC Potomac just last year. And just yesterday, the day before I'm recording this intro, he was named as one of Swing U's Collegiate Players of the Month for February due to his recent stellar play. So I thought Greg was the perfect person to have on to learn about playing golf at Howard, playing under and being recruited by Coach Sam Puryear, HBCU golf, playing with this spotlight that Howard University has been under a bit ever since getting the donation by Steph Curry, and learn a little bit more about just Greg and his future. Believe this is his first podcast. He did great. Really enjoyed learning a little bit more about him and getting to know him a bit. Before we get to the conversation, a couple reminders / updates. One, June 7th, we're hosting an outing out of Bretton Woods on River Road in Montgomery County, Bretton Woods Rec Center. Private course, 18 holes. We're going to do a shotgun start, 2-person better ball tournament, lunch, tee gifts, prizes, post-round hangout, a lot of fun. Just sealing up a couple sponsors this week that I'm getting ready to announce. Bunch of signups have already happened. We certainly got some left. Go to beltwaygolfer.com, click on outings, see all the details for the bankroll at Bretton Woods, Wednesday, June 7th at 1 p.m. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for our free monthly newsletter. Just sent out, I think, our 9th or 10th. They go out at the beginning of every month and do a recap of all the monthly news in the world of golf around the Mid-Atlantic and the DMV. I also want to give a special shout out to Jason Meesh and his team out at Peak Golf Fitness in Rockville, Maryland. Soon to be also Ashburn, Virginia, getting ready to open a second location. But Peak Golf Fitness, we've been seeing them for a couple months. They've been working on our swing mobility and working on stretches and strengthening certain muscles that are needed in the golf swing that at the age that I'm getting personally, I've neglected for a while. And it's really helping me do a proper turn in both directions on the golf swing and really work and stretch out the core muscles that I need in the golf swing that oftentimes I overlook in what little exercise and stretching I do on a normal basis. So I certainly encourage everyone to go to peakgolffitness.com and learn more about what they're doing. It's all about performance enhancement and exercise and mobility, specifically for the golfer. He works with golfers of all ages and skill levels, but really has a big focus on junior golfers and younger golfers looking to get to that next level. So again, Peak Golf Fitness in Rockville, Maryland. Go check them out. That's about it. Let's get the conversation. Here it is, episode 64 with Howard University golfer Gregory Odom Jr. Enjoy. So we're out here at 5 Iron in Washington, D.C. on 7th Street in the Penn Quarter. We're chatting with Mr. Gregory Odom Jr. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're able to join. So there's a bunch of different reasons I wanted to have you on this podcast and kind of chat with different things. Earlier this year, you've been kind of on a tear with Howard University. Got a few wins. You've been in the news a lot. There's a lot of these terms I kind of want to ask you about and just kind of ask you about your career a little bit. Well, we can start off with the basics. You're a senior on the Howard University golf team. You transferred to the program 2 years ago. Do I have that right?
2-3 years ago from University of Memphis.
From University of Memphis. So let's kind of start there. We'll get into a bunch of stuff. When you transferred from Memphis to Howard University, that was after Steph Curry started funding the program? Because Howard didn't have a golf team before that, right?
Howard did not have a golf team. What happened was it was like during COVID.
Right.
I actually got like a notification like 2 days ago. It was like February 28th when I entered the transfer portal.
Okay.
So that was like right before COVID happened, and I think the talk about having a Howard golf team was in the works, but it wasn't established yet. So as soon as I got in the transfer portal, Coach reached out, Coach Sam Puryear reached out, and we started talking. He started telling me how, the background story of Odom talking to Steph Curry, and they, trying to form a D1 golf team, and he's going to be the head coach, and nothing is really established yet. Like I'm like one of the first.
Did you know Coach Puryear before he reached out? Were you familiar with him at all?
I actually did not know.
Okay.
What's funny is I was in Kroger, and my middle school principal was in there and asked me about school, and I was like, I just entered the transfer portal, and he was like, my frat brother is starting a golf team. Let me tell him about you. So that's kind of really how we got connected with Howard, and he reached out to me, and we just started talking from there, and Howard was really brand new.
Memphis is your hometown, so you went to Memphis University or University of Memphis?
University of Memphis.
And University of Memphis. So that was your hometown school. Any specific reason you want to share on why you entered the transfer portal to begin with?
I came to University of Memphis. It was home for me. I thought it would be a good decision. Being at home with my swing coach, my family, and all my friends that I grew up with. I thought that would be a good atmosphere for me to grow and all of that. But I just realized being in the city, I needed to take an extra step and grow my wings, and one day I could fly. You know what I mean? So I just entered the transfer portal. No idea where I was gonna land. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I remember those 2 weeks were like stressful because it was during COVID. So like most teams was at a standstill. Most teams had a full roster, or they had new recruits coming in. So there really was no spot for me. It was really a crazy time. So I kind of went to University of Memphis to be the first black golfer. I thought that would be a huge accomplishment. But I feel like you also need to have accolades behind it and actually have wins. So, coming here was a great idea. I got to be around all black players, and we got to excel together. And I'm making a name for myself while being at a black school.
Do you remember much of Coach Puryear's pitch? Like, what did he tell you about coming to play with him and the Howard University golf team?
It was actually insane. He was telling me everything that we do now, and it just seemed unreal. Like, you're gonna have Callaway. You're going to meet Steph. You're going to, be around Steph. He could be a mentor. You have all these resources and opportunities such as, playing on the Corn Fair, PGA, winning championships, and, winning golf tournaments, and just overall be put in a position where you can actually excel. And it just seemed so unreal at the time of actually winning championships and everything. But, being on the podium after the round and you realize you actually won and he's right there next to you is just, a dream come true.
So the timing of that, were you part of that the first season of Howard University's golf team, or they already existed for a year?
I'm part of the first inaugural team. Yeah.
So most folks know the story of Steph Curry being a part of this program and funding the program for the next 6 years.
Correct.
How has that been? I mean, obviously that was part of Coach Puryear's pitch, that this is exciting, that, Steph's involved and everything. Have you gotten to, I've seen on social media that he's come visit, he's visited the locker room.
Yeah.
Have you developed a bit of a relationship with him?
I have. I actually did this TV show with him that was featured on Snapchat.
Okay.
And, me and him went back and forth and talked, and it was more like a mentorship. And then from there, it kind of grew to us having a more personal relationship from there. But, he's a great guy. He comes around the team, talks to us, and, him coming to the locker room was a surprise, actually, because he played the day before, so we thought he was just going to leave. But he stayed around and,
This is while the Warriors were in town playing the Wizards, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. So
that's cool.
Cool.
Have you got an opportunity to tee it up with him?
Not yet. looking forward to it, but I haven't got that opportunity yet.
So jumping over from Memphis to Howard, can you compare, for folks that don't know, kind of the landscape of competitive college golf, competition-wise, how different is it?
University of Memphis was actually inside the top 100 before I left.
Okay.
I mean, the resources are there. They had a facility, academic resources, so it was easy to do things. But, having a golf facility is huge. Putting green and driving range any time of the year, hot or cold, was huge. But normally when you talk about HBCUs, they don't have that. Academics really lack with, advising. So that kind of sucks. But also, golf courses. They don't play at the big golf courses like Howard University do. So that's, very different. But, HBCU golf is not glamorous. The resources definitely lack, and the opportunities are really second to none.
When you started on the team, did you guys even have a set practice course or home course?
We did it. It was very new. We just came here and we practiced at driving ranges, and we finally got put on the courses and stuff like that. So we came to spring 2021. Okay. So, it was fresh out of COVID, that first little wave. So everything was kind of brand new. And we were just trying to get accustomed to DC at the time. So, yeah.
So if you started with the team in spring of 2021, one of your first big events on the team, the PGA Works, when it was down at Sawgrass?
Correct. That was our last tournament of that semester.
Yep. So PGA Works is a tournament, a championship of HBCUs, correct?
That's what it's supposed to be, but now it's more of a minority championship.
Okay.
So, all minorities from every school can come and play in it now.
Got it.
So, yeah.
But you came out of the gates. Was that you correct me if I'm wrong, you were a medalist of that tournament.
I was.
Was that your first win?
That was my first collegiate career. It was.
That's pretty awesome. And can you tell us a story? So I want to talk a lot about Coach Puryear and your journey here. But do I have it right? So you're a junior, Gregory Odom Jr.
I
am. So your father, was he a golfer?
He was.
Did he get you into the game?
He definitely did. He played in high school, and it kind of stuck with him. And then he was just more of a weekend warrior, playing on the weekends and scrambles with his old high school buddy friends. And he would just take me out there, and I kind of fell in love with the game and fell in love with fellowshipping with his friends. And just one thing led to another, and I kind of started doing it by myself, and now I'm at Howard.
Wow. One of these, I bring it up. I had read that, and I'm sorry about this, but that your father passed away literally that week of the PGA Works Championship,
he did.
Which ended up being your first win. And do I have it right that Coach Puryear was the one that broke that news to you? He
was. Right when we touched down, my mom called him and said my dad was in hospice, and I can hear the worry in her voice, and it was just a very sad time. I kind of cried that day, thinking he can just fight through it. And then the next morning, the first practice round, because it was 2 practice rounds, he called me into his room, and he kind of broke the news, and he was crying too. We also had our senior AD, Paul Bowden, there, and he was crying too. And they were just trying to encourage me and lift my spirits. They kind of wanted me to not play, and because I feel like they wouldn't play. But
how many days before the tournament started was it?
It was first practice round, then we had a second practice round, so I guess 2 days, you say.
Okay.
And I just knew my dad would want me to play, and I called my mom after I heard the news, and tried to calm her down as much as I can. But she said she wanted me to play too, so I kind of just kept my head down and just locked in and focused, and I came out a champion.
That's a heck of a story. I don't think anyone would have faulted you for not playing in that tournament. Then to come away with your first win, that's pretty awesome. Well done. Coach Puryear kind of taking that role in that instance, has that developed into kind of a mentorship, or can you tell us a little bit just about him as a coach and working with
he's a great coach. For me, It all started when the first phone call. It was just natural. It was just like, he was like an uncle to me. We didn't really talk golf. We just talked life most of the time. And then, golf just came about. And in that moment, I feel like it was no better person to break that news to me like him. And, he's very caring, and, he just wants the best for me. So, I love that guy.
Can you talk a little bit about his coaching style? Like, does he ride you guys a lot? Does he talk a lot about, I know he's coached at some, he's coached at Michigan State, coached at Stanford, some big-time universities. Is he telling you stories about, what the guys those programs do? Or
he tells us a lot of stories. He's a storyteller. But I feel like it's very different for him compared to Stanford and Michigan State to be at a school like Howard and be around us. But right now I feel like his coaching style is, he's going to tell you what he see. He's going to put a lot of opportunities in your face because I feel like the best lesson is experience, and then he's always there too. So he can always tell you, what he sees from his point of view and what you need to work on. So I feel like it's more experience-based, especially with him being at, these high-level schools and, coming here and just trying to make black golfers on the map.
I would imagine, is there an extra level? I mean, the Howard University golf program is getting a lot of attention. It literally went from not having a program at all, like we just talked about, to now every time you guys do anything, most 99.9% of it's positive, but there's a lot of attention. Does that add a layer of pressure, knowing that everything's going to be reported on?
I think I would say no. I feel like when you join this team and you actually start playing, this is what you signed up for. You're here to win and be the blueprint for black golf and, just golf in general. So, yeah.
Do you ever, I'm just kind of curious about this, do you ever get any from your competitors, especially maybe from other HBCUs, that kind of rib you a little bit or a sense of resentment that, oh, you guys got that Steph Curry money? And
all the time,
really?
The time. I mean, we show up to golf tournaments and, Steph Curry this, Steph Curry there, and y'all got this and y'all got that. But as you can see, we putting in the work and we trying to win as much as possible and, just trying to get our ranking up to be one of those, top 100 schools. And, you can't say nothing. We got the stats to back it up. So.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about, well, before I know you went on a little bit of a run at some tournaments, but prior to that, we talked about the PGA Works Championship in 2021. In 2022, you ran it back up in Philadelphia, and this was another heck of a week for you because, why don't you tell the story?
Well, so I got the exemption to play in the Wells Fargo, and that was before conference and also the PGA Works. So my mindset was, PGA Tour is going to be very big for me. This is, what you dream of. So let's prep. Put yourself in these positions where when you're there, you don't have to worry. Yeah. So I was just trying to put myself in contention and play the best golf I can. And, week after week, I won the conference. So I was like, okay, they give me an extra boost to go into PGA Works. And PGA Works, I just played good golf and came out, a champion. And then the next day, I had to play a PGA Tour event. And I feel like if I could relive those 3 weeks over again, it would be amazing. But
so this was the Wells Fargo Championship at TPC Potomac.
Yes,
and that starts on a Thursday.
Yeah.
What days were the PGA Works in Philly? Was that like Monday, Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the final round was Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then you got to race down to Potomac.
Correct.
And tee off for, correct me if I'm wrong, your first ever PGA Tour event as a sponsor's exemption the very next day.
The very next day. So, it was hectic. Driving back from Philly and then, trying to get in that late sleep and, get ready to play a PGA Tour event because, it's different. It gave me a whole new perspective on golf and, life and what I need to do for the future, and it's paying off.
Yeah. What was that round or rounds like playing on the PGA Tour. I mean, you didn't get any practice rounds,
Yeah.
or did you get any practice rounds the prior week or anything?
I mean, we played the course before.
Okay.
But I didn't get official practice rounds because I was actually, I was at the PGA World Tournament, so it was different. But playing was fun. A lot of people came out and supported, and I love the crowd, and I love the, people that want to see me do good. So that was fun. TPC was playing hard. I love it. The roof was high, but the weather was very crazy that week. I think it rained really hard, and it was also cold.
Oh yeah.
For 2 days straight that I played.
That was a nasty weekend.
It was nasty. It was very nasty. But it was also fun. I played with Michael Gillick and Bo Hogue.
Yep.
And, they played some incredible golf, and they still play incredible golf right now. And, I talked to guys in the locker room like Tony and James Horn, and, those conversations was, very memorable. And,
nice.
I would, thanks for them to pull me to the side, actually give me words of encouragement and, tell me things that they did in their life. And, I mean, it was just cool.
That's awesome. So later on, so we're still in 2022, later on that year, you had a couple wins. One back at Avenel, because I was out there.
It was.
I'm going to get confused on the names of the tournaments, but you won one down in where, in like South Carolina, the River Run?
Yes,
Is that, I might have this.
yeah,
state
River
wrong.
Run, Davidson.
Okay, North Carolina, okay.
Yeah, Davidson. So, yeah, we played Davidson first.
Did you win 2 tournaments in a row or 3?
4
You won 4 tournaments in a row.
collegiate tournaments.
My bad.
Yeah.
4, wow.
So, conference, PGA Works, Davidson, and then we called it the Howard. And
So that was 4
Yeah,
straight starts, except for you're taking out the Wells Fargo.
yeah, I'm taking out the sun.
No,
I'm taking out the sun. We're going to just
which
say
I think is
collegiate.
fair.
Yeah, collegiate tournament.
4 straight, man. That's I can't imagine too many people have that on their resume of winning 4 straight college tournaments, regardless of who you're playing against. I mean, what was that? What is that feeling like? All of a sudden, you feel like you can't lose.
Yeah, I feel like it brought me back to my junior golf days of showing up to the golf course and feeling like I can win, and that's what I'm supposed to do. I kind of got out of that, being in college and experiencing this new life, and also being at University of Memphis, and you actually see guys better than you, so now you got to grind hard, and you see them winning, and you're just trying to get back to that spot that you once were. So I feel like that's the hard part about college, because junior golf, everyone feels like they're in their prime, and then they go to college, and it's different. So that just gave me the extra gear I needed to know that I could actually do this thing.
I followed you for not super long, maybe a few holes on one of the days for that tournament at Avenel,
Yeah.
not the Wells Fargo, but the collegiate one.
Correct.
And it was loaded with local schools, some big schools. I mean,
Yeah.
you had Maryland, you had Georgetown, you had George Washington,
Correct.
all kinds of teams.
Correct.
And do I have it right? You were down. You were
I was down.
several shots back.
I think I was
starting maybe even going into the back 9 on the last round.
I think starting the round, I was like 7 to 8 strokes back.
And you ended up winning.
Yeah, I thought I had no chance. I just, knew I need to play golf. How I feel like to be good in the nation, you got to be good locally and then regionally. So, we was always striving to compete against, all the DMV schools. So, that's kind of what I was trying to hold up at the end of my bargain and playing good. And, it just turns out that I just need a par on 18 to win. So, it was fun.
Does the team or yourself, do you guys pay attention much to national rankings, team and individual?
I think so. Coach kind of try to encourage that, try to be the best that we can. But we just don't always focus on it. But, we look at the numbers and just try to strive to do better.
I follow college golf a little bit, not nearly. I'm not in it. And so I don't really understand how the rankings work, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I looked you up, even when you're during that run, and you were like around like 200. I'm like, man, this guy's just won like all these tournaments in a row.
No.
And I know there's some algorithm with a lot of the competition and everything, but you can only beat who you can play.
Yeah.
So I was always, I can see being frustrated by that.
Yeah, that's another thing about HBCUs that suck. Is I think it's the power and strength of the field. So most of our fields are not, near the same as like a Texas or Stanford when they go play an event. So like, unless you win or top 3, it really don't really mean nothing. most of the tournaments we play. So, I mean, that's another reason to ball out at every event, because, you know, to get that good ranking, and you have to be playing your best.
There's a lot of talk about, it seems like HBCUs are they're kind of gaining momentum. There's a lot of, maybe probably not just in golf, but in a lot of sports, there's better athletes that are enrolling HBCUs. They're getting more attention. You know, they're kind of on the rise. Do you see that? Do you feel that? I mean, in the golf world, you know, I asked about the competition giving you crap about the Steph Curry money, but do they see how much that is helping the entire, like, everybody?
I think people are saying that help, and I feel like that's making more people step up and do the right thing. You got J.R. Smith at NCAT,
sure,
and he's helping them out with TaylorMade and all of that. Then you got other schools being provided money to keep going on, and I think Tyler is just reaching out to schools to help them with clothes and balls and, you know, maybe clubs. But
have you guys played North Carolina A&T yet?
we have at PGA Works.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you see J.R. Smith's game?
I have not yet.
Okay.
I have not. I haven't played against him yet. But if he makes the lineup, we can play.
Let me ask you another HBCU take. So it's been in the news a lot. What are your thoughts on Deion Sanders? You know, he got a lot of press for all the great work he did with the Jackson State football program. Recently left to the Colorado Buffaloes football program, and there's been some people kind of that are saying, "Hey, man, what he did for Jackson State and HBCUs was tremendous." And others saying, "Well, wait a second, the job's not done. He was just chasing the money." What's your take?
My take is he's doing the right thing, and he did the right thing. Going to Jackson State, providing them with, you know, a culture that they haven't seen in a while, and they probably have never seen. And you gotta think he's a man too, and he wanna, you know, level up and continue putting people like me in better positions. So I think that's, you know, optimal. And that's kind of the same thing with Coach Sam. He's been at that top level, and he wanted to come down and put us in, you know, the optimal positions, and I feel like that's what he's doing.
Does he talk much about so Steph Curry? It's well reported. He funded the program for 6 years.
Correct.
So we're in year 2, finishing up year 2, or are we in year 3?
I want to say 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Does Coach talk much about us? You're a senior, you won't be here anymore, but you know, the program after that 6 years and what has to happen for the program to succeed long term?
Correct. Yes, we always trying to fundraise. We have a yearly tournament at Pebble Beach, and we fundraise there and try to make money to. I think we have an endowment, and we're just trying to get this money so it'll be endowed, and this team can last for some years. And I feel like that's important because I don't want this to be a one-hit wonder with Howard or any HBCU. We want to continue growing and having the best talent at the school and having the resources and being able to use these resources and the opportunities that you get to be the best you can be and be on PGA Tour.
Sure. Speaking of that, what this is your last year. You got the whole semester. You got a bunch more tournaments. Not putting the cart before the horse, but how good you've been playing and how good you are. I imagine you're gonna make a run at pro golf when this is over. Am I wrong?
When it's over, I will. I kind of got that extra year to come back, and I'm kind of looking at it because.
You have an option for a 5th year.
I do.
And that's all COVID related.
Because of COVID.
Oh, right.
So, I got an option to come back and be able to be still a part of this great program, but I also got the option to, forgo that and take on that pro golf. But for me, I think it's all about just keep setting myself up and doing the right things and continue learning and learning about myself. So, when I'm out there, I can do what I need to do instead of trying to keep figuring things out. Because I feel like a lot of people that look like me, jump out there for the money and, they just always trying to figure it out. And they don't have to look like me, but, I just don't want to jump out there and just keep learning, stuff that I could have did at, school. But, I just want to go out there and get the ball rolling.
I hear you. Golf's going to be there, man.
Yeah.
Stay in school. That's my 2 cents. Get the extra year. Don't listen to me, but that's my
Yeah.
So going back, so Howard, so today, because one of the things I'm curious about, what do you consider your home course right now? Is it Argyle?
Right now we consider Wilmot and Argyle and also Woodmore.
And Woodmore, okay, yep.
And we're trying to work on another course, to sprinkle in there. But that's the 3 courses right now.
I also came out and watched. I didn't see a whole bunch of it also, but saw the last few holes when Howard won the MEAC championship.
Yeah.
What was that? That was last fall? And that was at Argyle.
Last spring.
Last spring, okay. You were the medalist of that too, right?
I was. That was a part of my.
That was part of the run?
That was part of the run.
Okay, that's the one I wasn't counting.
Yeah.
So what about, so we're talking about your home courses, when the announcement was made, and the announcement was made at Langston Golf Course,
Okay.
with the idea, I think a lot of people, with the Steph Curry announcement I'm talking about, with the idea that hopefully someday, maybe, Langston could be Howard University's local course. Have you got an opportunity to play Langston? I know in its current state, it's probably not the championship course that a college program needs, but maybe someday. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have played Langston. It's a cool course. It has a lot of rich history for black golfers. We have, all went over there as a team to even volunteer or, play. We actually had a qualifier there before.
You did?
Yeah. So it's cool, but, if we had a facility over there where we could practice, in the hot or cold, it'd be a great place to go. But as of right now, it's just a good place to go when it's, the right temperature.
Yeah.
So,
what about yourself as far as, as you over the next couple years, as you weigh your decision to go pro and take that next step, are there folks in professional golf, famous or otherwise, that you kind of look up to or try to model your game after, or look at the journey they've taken in golf that you're a big fan of?
I'm one of those guys too that learn from experience and learn from other people's mistakes or their victim situations. From that PGA Tour tournament at Wells Fargo, I kind of had a close relationship with James Horn, and he kind of helps me out, and we talk things out, and we talk life too. And every time I see him in town, like at a PGA Tour event or I'm there, we hook up and we talk, and he walked me through his practice routine and his schedule, and him playing on the course, and I think that's huge. Yeah, I really don't kind of model myself out there. Anyone, I kind of have people that I like LeBron and Ocho Cinco and Kanye West. I kind of like their styles.
Okay, Ocho Cinco. I didn't see that one coming.
I like that bright style, but also they know that they the best. They just carry their attitude, and
Sure.
That's kind of what I like. But I also talk to guys on the PGA Tour, Cornfield or past people that was on many tours about their journey. And, just taking all the information and trying to see if I can learn something from that and, integrate that into my game and, just excel the best that I can.
Sure. We skipped over as well. You just had, you were just invited out, got to play Riviera just, what, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And it was this, correct me if I'm wrong, this was like a collegiate showcase the Monday of the Genesis Open, and the winner got to play in the Genesis Open.
Correct.
And you came pretty darn close, right?
Pretty darn close. One stroke out of being in the playoff, and 2 strokes of winning it outright. It was a fun experience. 18 holes at Riv, very special. The course was actually in tournament condition. I heard they played firm and fast on the fairways, and fast on the greens as well. Weather was a little cool. The wind was high. I mean, and the sun was out, so it was just a beautiful, 18-hole walk, and I enjoyed it.
That's cool. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast and talking a little bit about your journey and Howard University golf. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck the rest of your season. And maybe more than one season here at Howard or wherever you decide to go next. But
yes, sir.
I appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You don't have a good golf game, but I don't really care. I'm a regular dude living in D.C., and I want to know about D.C.-centric golf stuff. If you can tell me something that I don't already know, then that is great for me. I don't want the regular stuff. I want exciting stuff. I want different stuff. I want stuff I can't hear elsewhere. but I want it to be about DC golf.